I'm attempting to survive 100 days in hardcore Minecraft, which means you only have one life, so if you die it's all over. My goal in these 100 days is to get full netherite armor, kill the ender dragon, and kill the wither, even though, on a side note, I have never played hardcore Minecraft before. So if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's jump right into the video. To start with day 1, I spawned on top of a tree surrounded by a jungle, savanna and dark forest, and I made my way down to gather some wood and make a wooden pickaxe, which I used to mine cobblestone and make stone tools and furnace for myself. Right after that, I gathered more wood and went to look for a good place for my base, making sure to get food on my way. As I was still exploring, I noticed a village nearby, which will be very useful later on, but back to our main mission, I gathered more food, pumpkin, coal, and I found the new Armadillo mob, which I have no idea on how to interact with. And by the end of day 1, I decided that this area will be where I live, so I placed down my bed and concluded day 1. Day 2, I woke up with one goal in mind, to explore the village that I found, so I climbed the mountain that I was in and went to check the loot inside. One thing that I focused on was getting the beds for an upcoming project in mind and to trap villagers so I can find them whenever I needed them. My first chest in the village was actually decent with potatoes and emeralds, and same cannot be said for my second one. Anyways, I decided that the next best thing to do is to steal the village's crops, which I did, and I killed their iron golem for some iron. As I was ready to leave the village, I spotted another one. Yup, another village right next to this one, but as soon as I got there and started looting, the night came down and I placed one of the beds to skip it. Day 3, I continued to loot the village by taking their beds, stealing their chests and killing their iron golems, and after a while I decided to go back home. Because of this looting session, I had a stack of bread, an iron sword, an iron pickaxe and a shield, and the logical thing to do is to go mining with these items, so that's what I did. I found this cave nearby and started to gather coal and iron, and I went down and fought my first ever enemy, which was a zombie, that's all. Then I found a skeleton with 2 creepers, and let me tell you how happy I was to have a shield with me in that situation. Then I reached the deep slate area in the cave where I found lapis and redstone and even diamonds, but couldn't get it for now. Day 4, I started the day by finally being able to reach the diamonds, so I mined them and found even more diamonds, leaving me with 12 diamonds, which was insane to start the day with. I also found a mineshaft, which I will explore in a bit, but firstly I went to check the other caves nearby for more materials and more diamonds, but couldn't find any, so I entered the mineshaft and the first thing I found was diamonds next to a spider spawner, but it somehow had no chest. That I even checked the corners but still couldn't find any chest, which was weird to me. By the end of day 4, I found a zombie spawner, which I quickly lit up and checked its loot just to find a gold apple, which will be my saving grace for now until I get a totem of undying. And well, I also found the name tag too, concluding day 4. On day 5, I explored the mineshaft more, which later I found out that I was lost in, so I decided to grind 18 obsidian to be able to make another portal and an enchantment table once I needed to. And I found a vein of diamonds, which finally made me able to make full diamond armor and full sets of diamond tools, and left me with 5 diamonds extra. Day 6, I had enough mining, so I decided to leave the cave and started to dig up, which led me to a lush cave where I got some moss blocks and got sidetracked by lapis multiple times. But after a while of digging, I finally made it up to the surface and I was lost. But in the distance I found the savannah and hoped that maybe from there I can find my house, and that's what happened, because before entering the savannah I noticed the first village I found, which essentially led me to my home, and while sorting my items it started thundering, so I went to bed ending day 6. Day 7 I decided to work on my house, so I started by gathering some wood, removing grass with my water bucket and removing grass blocks with my beautiful shovel, and with that I started constructing my house. On day 8 I realized that building the house will require a lot of wood, and by a lot I really mean it, so I spent the entire day chopping down trees and gathering wood. Day 9 to 11 were all spent building my house. Day 12 I ran out of wood again, so I spent the whole day gathering wood. And on day 13 I finished building my house, which let me tell you, I find it good as someone who doesn't even know how to build a proper house. The next day I moved all my items inside my new house, then I placed some sugarcane so I can farm them once I needed paper for max level enchantment table. I also noticed a lot of sheep and cows around my house, so I went to gather some wood so I can make farms for them. Day 15 I started to work on the area near my house so I can have enough space for my animal farm, which I used fence and fence gates to build. Right after that I led some sheep to their new home, and same goes for the cows. I also decided that on this day I would build the wheat, potato and curd farms next to this animal farm, so I started by fixing the area nearby and then I started making the farms. On day 16, I finished building the farms, so I placed down the seeds, potatoes and carrots that I had. And I also had some extra dirt, so I worked on my area even more. Around this time, I also started to shear my sheep because I would need the wool for an upcoming project. And while doing that, I noticed a shipwreck in the ocean, which I decided to explore tomorrow. Day 17, I went to check the shipwreck, which I quickly looted and found some good loot and a buried treasure map. While I was following the map, I found an ocean ruins, which as soon as I got there, I started looting it and found another buried treasure map, so now I have 2 treasures to find. But as I was leaving, I wanted to try and get a trident on my way from this ground, but almost died, which was the closest I have been to dying in my hardcore world. Anyways, after that, I made it to the first treasure, which had some useful items like water breathing potion. Then I went to the second treasure, which also had an okay loot, but in the process I almost died due to drowning. And by the end of day 17, I found an igloo, which means it's exploration time. Day 18, I entered the igloo, then I went down to find a villager and a villager zombie. So I had an idea, what if I take both home? So I started to cure the villager zombie, and then I started to dig a tunnel to transport the villagers with a boat to my house. I also found a cactus on the flower pot, which is a good thing because now I don't have to look for a desert to get cactus. After a while, the villager was cured and I started to transport the first villager to my home, and by the end of day 18, we finally made it home. Day 19, I woke up to the biggest surprise ever. While sleeping, the villager died because of this zombie, which had a leather helmet which protected him from the sunlight. And let's just say, I did some bad things to that zombie. Anyways, I went and took the other villager with me, making sure to trap him inside a dirt cage instead of leaving him out in the public. Day 20, I went to the village that I found in day 2, then I took one of the villagers with me, making sure to also trap it in a dirt cage. Once I had both of the villagers trapped inside, I removed the dirt mist that I made, then I started to work on an automatic villager breeder so I can have an infinite amount of villagers. Day 21, 22 and 23 were all spent building the villager breeder, which already started working. On day 24, I finally decided to visit the Nether, so I made another portal and went inside of it. As I entered, I realized that I have spawned in the worst place ever possible, because now I'm surrounded by lava. So pretty much if I made a bridge, there's a 90% chance that it will be destroyed by ghasts, killing me in the process. But anyways, me being me, I decided to take the risk and started bridging, but somehow I made it there safe. So I grinded some bone blocks and finally decided to enter the Nether fortress to get some blaze rods and nether wart. As I was grinding blaze rods, I got attacked by 4 blazes, leaving me with 2 hearts, but before they attacked me even more, I used my gold apple to save myself, and after a very long time I got 12 rods, which was more than enough, so I decided to leave the fortress, which on a side note, I did not find any nether warts. Day 25, as I was going home, a ghast attacked me while I was on the bridge, which scared the hell out of me, and even after I ran away, the ghast kept guarding the bridge for some reason, I don't know why. So I had a plan to go to the portal from the other side, which I started working on, but midway I found some skeletons next to the portal. Great, just what I needed. With that, I decided to use my original bridge, so by the time I reached it, maybe the mobs have despawned. So yeah, I did that, and luckily the mobs have despawned, making me finally able to go home. And as I reached home, I used the bone meal from the bone blocks to fix my villager breeder, and in day 25. Day 26, I wanted to make a max level enchantment table, but I had no leather. So I went inside and started to gather leather, and by the end of day 26, I finally had enough to make the enchantment table. On day 27, I finally decided that it's time to kill the ender dragon. So I went inside the nether so I can grind some ender pearls. And the best biome to grind them is to go to the warp forest, which had a lot of endermen. And yeah, it took me the entire day just to reach it. And it took me the entirety of day 28 just to get all the ender pearls I needed. Day 29, I finally made it home and started to prepare for the ender dragon fight. So I enchanted my armor, gathered some items and blocks, and finally started to follow the eye of the ender. After a long time of traveling, I finally made it to the location of the stronghold on day 30. So I dug down and I was finally there. I spent the entire day looting the stronghold and the library and looking for the end portal, and then I realized that I did not have arrows, so I went to grind some. After grinding the arrows, I lit up the portal on day 31 and jumped into it, starting the fight against the ender dragon. I started the fight by trying to shoot down the crystals with my bow, but my aim sucks. So I used some blocks and had to climb the towers and destroy the crystals by myself. Right after that, I kept waiting for the ender dragon to come down to the center pillar so I can hit it with my sword. It took me a lot of tries because every single time the dragon would stay for literally less than 5 seconds and then throw me into the air multiple times, but after a long while I was finally able to kill the ender dragon, which rewarded me with a lot of XP and the ender dragon egg. Day 32 I went through the end gateway portal hoping to find an end city nearby that has an elytra, and as soon as I spawned I found an end city, but it had no elytra. So I went to look further and found another city right next to this one which had an elytra. So I went to it, looted some chests, got 4 shulker shells, and finally went to the flying ship to get my elytra. And let me tell you how happy I was to finally have it. I quickly used my elytra to jump from the ship and landed on the end gateway portal, and from there I went inside the portal, finally ended my journey in the end, which also ended day 32. Day 33 was pretty much all spent sorting my items, fixing my villager breeder which broke for some reason, and enchanting my items with all the XP I got from fighting the ender dragon, which actually gave me some amazing enchants such as fortune 3 on my pickaxe and protection 4 on my armor. On day 34, I built a simple string duper because I will need a lot of string for 2 things. The first one is to get wool, and the second one, well, you will see in a bit. The next day, I turned one of my villagers to Fletcher, and to upgrade him, I need a lot of sticks. So I grinded more flint to make fletching tables and gathered some wood on my way. Day 36, I turned 3 more villagers into Fletchers and started to level them up using sticks. Then I had to use the emeralds that I got from trading sticks to level up the villagers to the journeyman level. And finally, after a lot of trades, I unlocked the string trade. And yeah, this is where the second use of my string duper comes in, because now I have an infinite amount of string, which I can trade for emeralds. On day 37, I turned 2 new villagers into farmers because at master level they start to sell golden carrots, which is the best source of food someone would ever want. Also, I did some trading with my villagers because that's my new favorite hobby. Day 38, I went to get some of my items that I left next to the end portal, not to mention that it took me the whole day just to get a mending villager. I spent the entirety of day 39 just gathering wood and trading. And on day 40, using the string that I had from the string duper, I made a lot of wool and took some wood with me to the nether, because today is the day that marks the start of my journey to get 4 netherite armor and tools. Actually, that was the case for day 40, 41 and 42, but on day 43 I found the last ancient debris that I needed. With that, I decided to head back home, and please take a look on how long this tunnel is. Anyways, I made it home, smelted the ancient debris, and then day 43. Day 44, I decided to explore the nearby bastion so I can find the netherite upgrade smithing template, and it took me a long time to find it. But hey, that's much better than having to look for it in another bastion. Anyways, after that I returned home and went to bed. Yeah, what else are you expecting from me? On day 45, I realized that I need almost a stack of diamonds to dupe the netherite template. So I went to look for a cave and started to strip mine like the good old days. Oh wait, you guys can't see anything? Here you go, much better. Anyways, it took me the entire day just to get enough diamonds because luckily I had fortune 3 on my pickaxe. The next day I finally did it, full netherite armor and tools. I went to gather some leather and made some item frames to place on my chest, and well, it looks so much better now. I spent the entirety of the next day just leveling up to new Fletchers, trading with them and taking care of something else. On day 48, I decided to start working on the area outside of my house, so I spent the next 2 days just doing so. And on day 51, I finished my work, which actually made my base look much better than it was. I spent the entirety of day 52 expanding my villagers' home and well, trading with them of course. That's all. Day 53, I decided to try fishing for the first time in my world, and doing so I caught some fish and decided to get a new pet cat for myself. Day 54 was all spent caving to try get as much coal as possible for an upcoming project. Day 55, I went to the villager that I trapped on day 47 and tried to get a looting book from it. And believe it or not, it took me the whole day just to get it. On day 56, I used the coal that I mined to get some torches and started to light up the area around my house to stop mobs from spawning. I was done with my work on day 57 and this looks much better. Day 58, using the 2 looting books I got from the librarian, I added looting 3, mending and sharpness 3 to my sword, because on this day I decided to go to the nether and start grinding wither skeleton skulls since I wanted to fight the wither. So I spent the day 58, 59 and 60 just grinding them. By the end of day 60, I made it home with 3 skulls and prepared some potions for the wither fight. Day 61, I went inside a cave, made a tunnel, spawned the wither, and using a bow I bought from a villager, I took down 50% of the wither's HP and then phase 1. Then I used my beautiful sword to finish off the wither and end the fight in just 30 seconds. With that, I went home and decided to make a beacon and show you my treasure. Yeah, this whole time I wasn't trading with my villagers for nothing. Anyways, I dug down next to my house, placed all the emerald blocks I had, and finally placed the beacon, getting the maximum effect. Which, if you want to know, I decided to go with speed 1 and regeneration since the beacon is next to my base. I spent days 62, 63 and 64 just gathering materials for my upcoming project, which is an Enderman farm. And on day 65 I started building the XP farm in the end, finishing it on day 67. Since I had an XP farm now, I wanted to repair my items, so I spent the entirety of day 68 just trading with my villagers to get 6 midnight books. Day 69 I applied mending to my items and repaired them. Then I decided to max out my items, but I ran out of lapis, meaning that I had to go and mine some. Day 70 I went back to my Enderman farm and maxed out all my enchants on my armor and tools, which actually took the entire day. On day 71 I changed my beacon effect to haste 2 for my new underground project, an iron farm. So here is how it went. I spent day 71 and 72 just digging underground for the farm. Day 73 was pretty much spent to get the final shape going. The next day I fixed some design failure and trapped a zombie inside the farm. Day 75 I started to get villagers into the farm, and on day 76 I trapped more villagers and added the final touches. Pretty cool summary, right? Well, no, because I'm not done yet. That's because I spent days 77 to 80 just fixing the farm since it did not work at all. And to sum it up, I had to change the area that the zombie was in to this new design. Day 81 and 82 were all spent gathering materials for something I wanted to build for a long while now, which was a bridge to the other side of my land. And well, I finished building that on day 83, and hey, it actually looks amazing. The next day I decided to get 2 new cat pets since my old one disappeared, which I got from the old village I found on day 3. I also built a small netherite farm because why not? I spent day 85 just trading with my villagers to level up 2 cartographers so I can buy the map location of the new trials chamber. And the first villager sadly did not sell it, but luckily I had backup which actually had the map for me. Day 86 I made it to the trials chamber and spent the next 2 days just exploring it, and well, let me tell you, Mojang nailed it. Like, this is the most fun I have ever had in Minecraft for a while, especially after you drink Bad Omen potion and the difficulty becomes much harder. The combat, loot and generation all makes you want to explore another trials chamber. So thanks Mojang. Day 89 I made it home, sorted my items and traded with my villagers. Yeah, that's all. The next day I decided to explore an ocean temple that I found nearby, so I went there, killed the 3 bosses, realized that I forgot my potions and collected sponge. And while leaving I found another ocean temple next to a village which I slept in. So on day 91 I returned home and prepared some potions and other stuff to explore it. I spent day 92 just AFK next to my iron farm for some iron. Day 93 I went back to the ocean temple and well, same thing, killed bosses, looted it, collected sponge and left. I forgot to record on day 94, but well, I made this giant iron golem head which includes an item elevator that makes iron come all the way from underground to the surface. I spent day 95 just to get a perfect bow using my Enderman XP farm, and by the end of the day I went to a swamp just to get gunpowder and slime balls. Day 96 I tamed a nearby black cat, took it with me home and started to make a world map of the area around my house using the maps I got from the cartographers on day 85, which on day 97 I had this result. I also spent the rest of this day building a cute little house for my dogs and one for my cats. Not to mention that it took me the entirety of day 98 just to get 3 wither skeleton skulls because I want to fight the wither again. Day 99, well, I did some things, okay? Don't tell anyone. Day 100 I went to the end to well, fight the wither and the ender dragon on the same time. So I trapped the wither under the end portal for an easy kill and respawned the ender dragon using 4 end crystals. And well, do I really have to tell you how easy the fight was? Anyways, I killed the ender dragon, jumped into the portal and watched the sunrise of day 101. Well, that's it everyone, I survived 100 days in hardcore Minecraft. I can't even tell you how long this video took to make, but if you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, and if this video does well, I will hopefully try to survive 200 days in hardcore Minecraft. But for now, see ya!